Welcome back to the second part of the Create a Request System series. Where we left off is we just created our new item screen and we're back at the main screen. Now, just to show you that it did really save and not just save to the app, we're going to go to our supply request, and you can see here ID 139 right here. That's the one we just saved. And if we click on it, we come down here, see there's the name of our folder. It did come in as a document set. If it came in a folder, it looked like the picture would be different. And if we come down here a little further, it's in alphabetical order, so it's kind of hard to find the stuff. This is our department. I got to rename that to department, but there's your distribution. I know I misspelled it. There's our email address and our phone number. There's our last name. There's my full name. There's our submission date and our work phone. So you can see everything moved over to SharePoint nicely. Now what we're going to do is we're going to work on creating a process sheet. Okay. We still need to add some stuff for, this is like step 2 of the submission process. You gotta put in your supply start information, you gotta put in your source of supply information, you gotta put in your items that you want to order, we got some additional questions you gotta answer, and then you got your tab for your supporting documentation. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and make another container. So make sure you select your screen. You come down here to your layout and your container. This container will be encompass the whole screen again. And we'll make this one make it light gray. Okay, so we're going to insert our label first for our banner. Call this request, and then what we'll do is we'll pull in our name, right? So gallery 1 dot selected dot title. Okay, as you can see it, put it at the top. We're going to make it bigger. We are going to center it. We're going to bold it. Make the background color blue. And we'll make the font color white. So you can see what exactly you brought up. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to create some tabs. Okay, each of these tabs are going to be signifying what we're doing here. Okay. Now keep in mind, this whole process in this library's got over 100 fields. So what we're going to do is we are going to break it up into pieces, so that way it isn't overwhelming. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to insert a horizontal gallery. It's going to hold our tabs. So come across like that, bring it down, and then we'll bring this over, and that should work. Now you're going to do a manual table. So what we're going to do is we're going to type in our categories. Now, when we create our table, we're going to create a 2-column table. Okay? And I'll show you here in a minute how it's going to work. Okay? We're creating a table, and it's going to have an ID and a label. And I'm going to break it up a little bit so it's easier to see. Okay, so you got your IDs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you got your labels. These are the labels, these are what's going to be on the tabs. Okay, pretty simple, right? Now, we're going to edit our gallery. Since we've got 5 things, it made it 5 across. Now, the last one's a little off the edge, but we're going to fix that. So, we're going to insert a button. Now, the reason I select these buttons instead of a label is because I can make the buttons rounded. So we're going to go like this. In the buttons, down at the bottom here, you've got what's called a radius. You notice it's the 4 corners of the button. Okay, so for the bottom part of it, we want to make it 0. We want square corners. Okay. Make both of these 0. Now, on the top, we want it rounded. So I'm going to set the top ones from 10 to 25. To give us a rounded effect at the top. Okay, that don't look right. What did I do? Okay, bottom left. 0. Bottom right should be 0, which it is. Top left, oh, it's top right I didn't change. Now if you look at it, you can see how it's squared at the bottom, so it's rounded at the top. Now, I'm going to make this thing a little shorter. And then I'm going to extend out this so it looks like that. That's pretty close. Okay. Now, next thing I want to do is I'm going to set the text property to our items, right? So it's going to be this item dot label. Now I'm gonna make this just a little taller, just so I can make my buttons a little bigger. See that now this don't look so crowded, and there it is. Now, as you can tell, when I click on one of these buttons, you can't really tell which one I click, can you? Because they look all the same. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on to the fill category here, or property. We still want blue to be the inactive color, but I'm going to make it where when you click on something it turns purple, so you know which one you selected. So I'll put a couple of spaces in there to separate it from what I'm doing. If this item dot is selected, color purple, and it's just TeleSense is being done right now. Color purple. If it isn't selected, it'll be blue. We'll close it out. Now watch what happens when I select them. See, now you can tell which one I selected. Okay, and that's important because when we go through these tabs on our form down here, it will reflect what's on here, but it's nice to know what actually got clicked, right? So now we're going to insert a edit form. We're going to use a form control for this. Doing a custom form would be too complicated. So you pick your battles, right? Alright, so we're going to go in here, we're going to select edit form. Now there is a modern version of this form, but I'm just going to stick with the old one. And there's two ways you can populate the fields in here. You can come in here and select your data source over here, and it will put every column in the data source in that form, and then you have to remove the ones you don't want. I prefer to do the latter way, which is you come up to the data source up here and just type in your name. Okay. What it does, it adds the data source, but it doesn't actually put any fields in it. Because I'm only going to grab a few fields. Okay, so we're going to go add field. First one we're going to grab. Now, as you select, the order you select them in, that's the order it's going to put the cards in there. Okay, so we're going to go require date. Oops, I can't spell. Require date's coming first. And then name of supply sergeant. So supply sergeant name. And then supply sergeant work phone. And then the last thing is justification. And we're going to add them. And we'll start with that. Now, keep in mind, this tab, and this tab are all going to be one form. What we're going to do is we're going to set the visible to the ID of the tab. So whichever one you select, if it isn't that ID and it's not, and the visible doesn't pass, it's just going to hide that card. Okay. So we'll start with the required date. We're going to take this one all the way across, and then I'm going to set the width to like 300. Okay. We don't want it all the way across. Supply sergeant name. Well, here, let's do this first. I'm going to set the, I forgot to do this the last time I did the form, and it messed me up. Alright, so we're going to reassign this. Okay, supply sergeant name, can be a little longer. Okay, there's your supply sergeant work phone, and our justification will be all the way across. I'll bring this down, and we'll go about that much. Okay, so that's how our form's going to look. Now what I want to do is I'm going to unlock all these forms because I want to change the labels on them. In the form control, the cards are locked by default. You cannot make any changes to them until you unlock the cards, but once you unlock the cards, then you can't do anything else with them. So this is going to be our required date, right? So I'm going to put a space in there. So we're going to go required date. This is our supply sergeant name, so I'm going to change it to supply space sergeant name. This one is going to be supply sergeant work. And then justification is good the way it is. And then next thing we're going to do is I'm going to change this. This is a text field on SharePoint. I want this to be a people picker. So what we're going to do is we're going to delete this control. Now it's going to throw some errors, but we'll fix it here in a minute. I'm going to insert a combo box, so that way I can look for names. I don't want nothing. I don't want people hand jamming names in here. That's dumb. Okay. Now, so I don't forget, I'm going to change all this stuff over here that needs to be changed. Oh, I can't do it yet. I gotta wait till I put the items in there. So we're going to do the same thing we did before. If self.search text. I literally forget this every single time. Search text is not blank. Office 365 users dot search user search term self dot search text. Boom. All right. Now we can come over here, change our display name, search term name, search field. Okay, and then we can turn on searching and turn off that. And then we come in here. We'll enter supply sergeant name. Now we're going to fix these errors. Now these errors are basically caused from ammo box class sergeant name. It's caused from when I deleted that field that they're looking for that name and I can't find it now. So what we're going to do is we're going to edit it. Now this is looking, since I've changed the type of field it is, I got to change what the data is looking for it, right? So this, the update field actually pushes the information to SharePoint. And it just needs to know where to get the information from. And then this one just has a control name here. So we're going to paste it in there, and boom, everything's fixed. Okay? Now, Supply Sergeant Work Phone is going to work the same way as it did on our new screen. It's going to, we're going to put that long, crazy thing in there on this, on the field itself, but here I'm going to, on the onChange, I'm just going to put a variable, because that's all we need. Okay, onChange, let's open it up. Now onChange, we need to put the if is blank too, because if you don't, it'll, every time it changes, it's going to try to run it and run this, and it's going to fail. And it'll get on your nerves after a while, even though there's nothing really wrong. So we're going to go CB supply sergeant name dot search text. I guess I could put self there, huh? So I'll put self there instead of having the name there. Self dot search text is blank. Set their platform phone to Office 365 user profile self dot selected dot mail phones dot value so that sets our variable if the combo box is populated. Okay, see if we reset it, it shouldn't run because now it's no longer blank. It is now blank. Okay. Now what I want to do is grab this here, and I'm going to set up our default value over here. Okay. So that's our thing here. I guess I didn't need to bring the whole thing on. Okay, so that will work right now, but I'm not going, I want to format it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close up this. Oh, I forgot to rename my container. Under here, I am looking for my phone field, and I'm going to grab all this. I'm going to click back in here. Now you notice how I have to click in twice? Click the first time it clicks the card, the second time it clicks the field. Now, just to simplify things, I'm not going to wipe out this. Paste this in here, but this is going to be wrong. Okay, so I want to grab, I'm going to cut this, and I'm just going to paste it in, and it'll work just the same. Oh, it's getting mad. Oh, I must have forgot a parentheses or something. Oh, I didn't get the last, that's one of these. Alright, so, go ahead and test out our thing here, make sure it works. Forgot about this. Alright, on your form, if you do not change the form mode, default form mode, when you don't have an item in your item in your thing here, so like if I select the form, this item field, if it's blank and its default mode is edit, which is right here, it will not show anything. So what you're going to do is you come back to properties, change this to new. Now it'll work. So you can go here, now it shows stuff. Alright, so I'm going to type my name in here, select it, and boom, it formats my thing for me perfectly. Okay, and this tab is now done. Okay, now one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to have it save as I fill in these boxes. It's going to write to SharePoint when I go on to the next thing. So we're going to come back out of play mode. I'm going to go on to each one of these, and I'm going to go onto the on change, and I'm going to run a patch command. Patch is what's used to write to SharePoint. So we'll patch our data source, okay, and then we're going to select which item it is, which record. So do this item. No, I made that mistake last time I did this. Our gallery we use to select this item, okay? We just got to put gallery when selected, or gallery number and selected, or whatever you call your gallery. Okay, I don't usually rename my galleries. And then we're going to go here, because we're only doing one column, we're not doing the whole record. So we need to put a record symbol in there, which is a curly brace. And we're going to put in our date. Required date. Yeah, required date. Self.selected date. Close the curly brace, close the parentheses, and then it's ready to go. So I'm going to copy this because I'm going to do this 3 other times. Okay. So I'm going to come here. Now on change, it's got some stuff already going on, but I'm going to put it on afterwards. So I'm going to put semicolon. Paste this in here, change this to my SharePoint name, and since this is a combo box, I gotta change this to selected dot display name. Okay, and there it is. Over here, I'm going to go to see, you can kind of cheat if you like leave your advanced stuff like this. You can hit on change right here to the very top. Paste it in there. This is our /sergeant work phone. This is a text field, so we're going to go self.text. And this is the text field as well. So we go on change, paste, justification, and self.text again. Now, one thing we can do with this column, since it's a multi-line text column, we're going to turn on multi-line, and that looks like it. So now we should be done. So let's do a test. Okay, so let's go here. Let's put the 17th in here, click OK. No errors, so let's go and check on SharePoint, make sure it wrote. So we're looking for 11/17/2023. So every time you come back to SharePoint, remember you got to refresh. Alright, so we're going to click on our item, and I go to the bottom because it's alphabetical, so required date. And it didn't write. Interesting. Wonder why. Didn't give me no errors. Scanning real quick to see if I did something wrong here. It says ID 101. Oh, I didn't select. Okay, I know what I did. I know what's going on now. That's the one I opened, not this one. So we'll click here. Now if we come down to the required date, you'll see it has 11/17/2023 in there, like it's supposed to. Alright, so let's go ahead and play with this. Okay, it did this because I blanked it out. But now if we come back to SharePoint, refresh, pick the first thing, go down to the supply star and stuff, there's my name, and there is the phone number that I got put in there. And then for justification, I'll just type default justification. So it's something unique, right? Go back to SharePoint, go to refresh, click here, go down, wait, I need justification, right? See, it says default justification. So everything works. So that's our first tab. Alright, so now we're going to do source supply. But first thing we're going to do is we need to make it so they only show up on this tab, right? Because right now, if I select another tab, they're on every tab right now, right? So the way we do this is click on one, find out where it is, and you hold shift down or control down, click it, and then you click each one of these ones you just played with. We're going to go to visible, and then we're going to say, since that's gallery 2, dot selected dot ID equals 1. Okay, so you see how everything came back? Now watch. If I select a different tab now, it doesn't show up anymore. And that's what we want. Alright, so now we're going to work on this one. So we're going to select our form, go edit fields, and we're going to start selecting fields. Alright, so we're going to go add field. Now, these all are going to text fields, so these are going to be easy. So they're all SOS fields, looks like. Yep. So I just got to select them in order. So it's POC name, POC phone, company name, fax number, URL. Add. Okay. Close that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the advanced, and I'm going to click these one at a time and unlock them all because I'm going to rename them. One time you don't want to unlock them right away is if you're going to change the type of field it is. These are all text fields, so I don't have to worry about it. So we're going to go, so the name is going to be like right there. The company name is going to be all the way across like that. And then the site URL is going to be all the way across as well. But we're going to add an additional field in here, so I'm going to drag this card down a little bit. And then I'm going to insert a HTML display field. And I'll show you why I'm going to do that here in a second. So we go under display, HTML text. Drop him right here. Make him go across the screen, just like that. And then I'll leave that there for now. When we get down here, I'll show you why. Alright, so we're going to change the name of these first. So this is the POC name, so let's go POC name. Now I'm not changing these to comma boxes because most of these names are going to be civilian names, which aren't in our tenant more likely. So you're going to have to hand type them in. So hopefully there's no mistakes. POC work phone. Oops. And this will be the company name. And then this is going to be our fax number. And then this is going to be our the company URL. The company site URL. Okay. So site address URL. Okay, so I got the names in there. Now these two I'm going to have to do what I did on the last couple. Put that long replace or that substitution command in there. These two I don't have to do nothing with because they're just typing them in, right? This one here I want to do something unique first, then I'll put these in here. So what I want is a clickable URL that whoever's doing this can do it, right? So if they're going to type in the address in here, and then this is going to convert it into a clickable link. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete this. We're going to start with quotes. href equals single quotes, and then we're going to do a variable name, which the variable name, once we get it put on there, is going to be var company URL. And double quote, single quote, we're going to, oops, wrong one. No, that's what I just put in there. This one. And then we're going to go, we're going to close up the text again, then we're going to go and var COURL. And we're going to go and the other way, oops, here, that, /a, close in it. Oh, that's our URL. Alright, it's mad because of the variable names, but here's what I'm going to do. Copy that, and then on the on change of this thing here, I'm going to set a variable. So we come down here, that's why I copied it because I want to make sure I get it right. On change, set our variable name to self.text. Okay. Now you notice that this thing cleaned up. So if we play it, as you can see, there's nothing there. So let's put in HTTPS sock.mil. Click off of it. We created a clickable link that works. Okay, it's not a real address. I just typed it in there. But as you can see, it does work. All right. So now we're going to go grab that long string of phone number thing. Let's see if I can find it. Where is our source supply phone? Oh, it's up here. Supply star, name, smartphone, data card value. Wait. Why? Is it there? Oh, that's right. Alright, so we're going to go up here to defaults. And I'm going to grab this whole thing. I'm going to click on work phone here. And then I'm going to paste this in here. But as you know, that needs to be different. So this would be self.text. Okay, get rid of that. Can't figure out why it's upset. Oh, I know why. This needs to be on the onChange. Because when I put something in here, it needs to change. Alright, so if we go here, can't remember how I did this. I always have trouble with this part. I think I need to set a variable and then put that as the default. So open this up. I'm going to go set there, source of supply, phone. Okay, and then I'm going to make this variable the default. I know I had to put something in the default and something on change. I just don't remember exactly how it's supposed to work, so just bear with me for a second. I think this will fix it. So if I play it now, there we go. See what it did? It basically does it in reverse. So when I type something in, it puts it in a change state. It takes all that stuff, changes it to the right format, puts it in the variable, and then because the default is set to that variable, it changes to it. So it works the way it's supposed to. If I go in here and change it again, see? I put an extra number in there. Now, I could put a little more in there where it says it does a count of all the characters and says you can have no more than 10. But I'm not going that far with it on this. So, okay, let's come out here. We're going to go ahead and find the onChange. Oh, must be up top. No? Oh, that's a data card, that's why. Alright, so we're going to grab, copy that. We're going to come down here, go to unchange. Now we're going to change. Oh, don't change anything. Oh, we got to change this right here. So I'll change the phone to fax. Copy that. Click off of it. And find default. Paste the variable in there, and we're good to go. Let's go ahead and check it. Doing good. Alright, so I'm going to put in my phone number. Boom, fixed it. Alright, so this is good, this is good, this is good, this is good, this is good. Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and set it up so it only comes up in source to supply. Wait, we got to do one more thing. We got to put our patch statement in there, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the patch statement from my first screen here. So we'll grab this one, we'll copy it, and then we're going to come here, go to unchange, well, just go here, paste it, this, source of supply, POC name, and self dot text. Okay. Same thing for this one. Except this is going to be our company. Source of supply company name and self dot text. Go here. Change. Now this one has a something on change, so we got to put it afterwards. Paste it. This one is our POC work phone. So go POC phone. This is the text field, just like the other two. And we'll come down here, on change, semicolon, enter, text, and this is our fax number, and then this one is our URL. Now, even though it's a URL, it's still a text field. Now, since this works off of what's in here, it'll work just fine. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to select all our fields like we did last time. And we're going to set the visibility. Okay. So it's going to be gallery 2.selected.id equals 2. So now if we check it, that works for that, that works for that, and then additional questions, we got nothing. Okay. So now we're going to set up the additional questions. Now let's click down here again, edit fields, add fields. As you see, they're starting to get a lot of fields here, right? See why I didn't do it all on one screen? Alright, so first question is DSOR, so we'll go DSOR, like that, Next one is quotes. That one. And then the next one is Army, the one Army system. Then OCIE there. And last one is Caper. And add. Alright, so I'm going to end up changing every one of these names because these are actually questions. These are just the field names to capture the responses. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to extend out all the way across. So it's one row per. Still without order in it. The caper should have been at the bottom. Alright, so goes DSOR, 3 quotes. OCI, it looks like the caper and this one got switched. Oh, it's the OCI. Nope, the OCI should be 4th one, not this one. There we go. So it's DSOR, 3 quotes, Army Supply System, OCIE, and caper. Alright, now I'm going to grab this toggle, we're going to put it over here, and I'm going to turn off the label. Same thing for this one. Turn off the label. Grab this one. Label. Turn off the label. And one more. Turn off the label. Now let's make sure the Alright, so the X value is 985, so I want them all to be lined up, so we'll leave 985, enter. They're all within a few pixels of each other, it's fine. Yeah, it was pretty close. Oh, that's something else there. Alright, so now they're all in line. Now, one thing I like to do with alright, so now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to set the toggles for the fill colors, because this looks really plain, so I like colors. So basically when it's off, when the toggle is off, I'm going to make it the background red, and when it's moved to the right, I'm going to make it green. So you go here, so you go red, go here, you go green. Now being in cards, it sucks, because I could have just made one toggle and just copy and pasted it, but it doesn't work that way. So you just gotta go red, green, red, green, red, green, red, green. Alright, so there's my toggles. Now what I'm going to do, so now if you actually check it, see? It looks better. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy all my questions over, because I'm not typing it all. Copy. Alright, so I'm going to what I'm basically doing is I'm going to unlock these cards. Unlock these cards first before I forget, so I'll have to go back and do it later. Okay. Alright. So we're going to go book quote, paste. Okay. And then I want to change it to a 25. So I can actually read it. Okay. Oh, I see why it's doing that now. Now that works. Now this card has a height of 88, so I'm going to make them all the same. You want uniformity in these things. Oh, I've got it in there. That's why it didn't change. Okay. And then I'm going to select this. Make it 5. And then I'm going to grab this question. Oh. Go bam bam. Paste. Okay. This is 25. And I'm going to grab my question from over here. Whoops. It's really repetitive. And our last one. Oops. I don't know why he's hitting 9, but okay. I'm going to grab 5. And then grab this. Oops. Okay, I can't do it that way. Gotta recopy it. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to center these. So it's 88 and it is 28 high, so that's 60, we'll say 25. 25 should be close. Yep, that works. And then we're just going to go down and do them all like that. Shoulder in the center of the box. Oops. Wrong field. Now later on, when we do our add files, when we go to add files, we're going to revisit this page, or this tab, and we're going to add a bunch to it, but not right now. This is just the initial setup. Okay, so that looks a lot better. Okay, so that sets up this page. Now we got to set up the cards so they only show up on this tab. Also, we also got to put our patch statement in for these toggles. Okay, so because we want to save it, right? So let's do the patch first. All right, so we'll come in here. I'm just going to grab this patch statement, and then we'll go on each one of these toggles and add it. So on change. Now toggle's got two extra properties that do the same thing as on change. Well, not the same thing, similar. If you have different actions for when they toggle it right or toggle it left, you use the onCheck and uncheck properties instead of on change. But since we're just trying to pass what state it's in, on change works for us. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to paste it in here. Okay. We're going to go and set the field name. So DSOR. And then we're going to put self.value. So whatever value that toggle is, it's going to save to SharePoint. So I'm going to copy this because now all we got to do is change the field name. That's the only thing that's changing in these. Of course, I'll put a dang hyphen in there. Alright, so it's quotes. Okay. Paste. This one is running. Let's put a second colon in there for some reason. Okay. This one is OCIE. This one is Caper. Alright, so that's done. And now we're going to find our things here. And we're going to go here. This one, and this one. Got them all? Yep. Alright. So we're going to go to visible. Now this is number 4. So it's gallery 2.selected.id equals 4. So now if we go to our other tabs, it works perfectly. Alright, so those are all the tabs that we're going to do with our form. Now we're just about in an hour, so I'm going to cut this one off for here. But in the next video, we're going to go over setting up the other 2 tabs. Okay. The requested supplies and equipment are pretty simple. It's just like three different parts to it. And then the supporting documents is where we're going to spend some time, because that's where we're going to be adding documents, and then setting the adding documents screen up, which is separate from this. And then we're going to come back to the additional questions and add the additional buttons in there where we need to do for the other files we got to support. Because if you look at all these, it says DSOR purchase. Okay, DSOR purchase means packet. Okay, so it means we got to upload a packet, you know, a document, a PDF that has the whole packet in it. 3 quotes, documentation. Is the request OCIE? If it is, it's an MFR, you know. Is there any items that require Caper? Caper is a packet, you know, so it's all documentation that goes along with the supporting documents, which all the supporting documents for the whole thing will be in that one tab, but we need a way of identifying what the documentation is. So we're going to use that additional question screen just for that. And you'll see how I do it here when we get to the next video. So
See you there.